Hi, Melissa. SpaceX filing its amended S1 detailing that fixed price that we had been expecting and reported earlier today, $135 per share, as this company embarks on marketing what is by no doubt expected to be the largest IPO of all time, 3 times the largest IPO record holder here in the U.S., about $75 billion, because according to this S1A, SpaceX plans to offer 555.6 million shares in this offering, all primary stock here. So all $75 billion of this offering will go toward this company. None of it is from selling shareholders into this IPO. $75 billion, according to this S1A, what is likely to be the largest IPO of all time. But of course, they do have about a week and a half worth of marketing to do in order to assess what the final price will be, which will ultimately be decided next Thursday before a debut, which is expected next Friday, guys.
Got it. So, yeah, obviously nothing is final until the price is set as part of the deal, Leslie. Although it seems like this is a take-it-or-leave-it proposition. They're not going to mess around with a $4 price range that would only have changed the total offering size by $2 billion or so when you're got a market cap targeting of $1.75 trillion.
Right. Usually there's a bit of gamesmanship, a bit of psychology involved in this, where at this stage of the process, you would set a price range. And, the bankers kind of know that, they want to price it well. They want to price it toward the high end or above the range because psychologically that will signal, oh, there's a lot of demand for this deal. This is a quote unquote hot deal that, will bring more people into the book. At this situation, according to people I've spoken with, there was so much testing the waters. And obviously, Elon Musk likes to do things very unconventionally. And so they basically said no need to have that range, no need to have that kind of back and forth. How much would you buy at this part of the range? They just decided on a fixed price to market this deal that does give them flexibility to change it. Just because it's $135 per share now does not necessarily mean it will be $135 per share by Thursday, but it does kind of solve the size of the offering, which $75 billion, and then the valuation at this price point on a fully diluted basis, $1.75 trillion, which is also something I've been told is, the size of the offering as well as the valuation are two pieces that the company had been kind of aiming for. So the $135 per share, 555.6 million shares solves for essentially what they were looking to do with this IPO.
Right. Leslie, so they basically sort of calculated the fixed share price, or was there presumably some sort of testing the waters prior to setting a fixed price at this point?
Yeah, I asked sources, Melissa, because, Elon likes to do things with numbers. We saw what happened with the $4.20 per share that was offered. I asked if there was any significance to either 135 or 555.6. It sounds like there really wasn't, that it just was kind of how the math worked in order to get to $75 billion for that offering size. It was basically as simple as that.
I mean, the Google offering this week reminded me of when they did a secondary in 2005, and the number of shares was the number sequence to the right of the decimal point in pi.
Right.
So, I mean, sometimes you can have fun with these things. Elon seems not to be doing that in this case. I also do wonder, first of all, it's less than 5% of the total value going to be floated here.
Yeah, it's about 4.2% float, which
this is a small deal.
Small.
We all know about NASDAQ going to put it in at maybe 3 times that. If the methodology is correct. So it's still not going to really be muscling around the indexes. I do wonder also if this reflects the idea. It's hard to imagine an investor who says, I'm willing to buy this thing at 134, but not 136. If you're going for the ride, you can't be precise about valuing a company that only has $25 billion in revenue and $1.75 trillion in market cap.
You're not thinking about today. You're thinking about 20 years from now. I mean, that's the bet that you're taking when you're buying SpaceX.
Yeah. So much of this IPO, and this cannot be understated, is about the technical elements of it. It's people who are looking at the lockup calendar, people who are looking at the index inclusion calendar and the float size and how they'll be able to increase the float over time to get a greater weighting in the index, which will create an onslaught of potentially forced buyers just because of all the people who need to buy and all the different products that need to buy as a result of its index inclusion. This is a very unique situation. It also paves the way for a slew of other IPOs that are also looking to be valued potentially, above $1 trillion in their IPOs. And so I would say, fundamentally, a lot of people look at this and they say $20 billion in revenue last year on $1.75 trillion. That is not more than 90 times last year's revenue. But when you kind of think about the technical elements of it, it feels like something that a lot of people have more FOMO about.